Thank you everyone for being here. Good morning and welcome. I'm Khushboo Sharma, founder and director with Zero Gravity Communications. Today we are going to talk about something very interesting. The way India connects with brands that has changed faster in last few years than decade before because the world is moving way faster than it was 10 years back. New platforms, new attention span, new rules. There is a lot of assumption that no longer holds true in today's time, and that is why we all are here to kind of talk and discuss and unpack the learnings for it. So I'm delighted to be joined by Jolene Fernandes Solanki, COO of Madison Media Ultra. Jolene has spent nearly 2 decades in media industry. She leads some of the country's biggest brands. She has a refreshingly clear point of view on where real consumers connect today, where the connection comes alive, not in how many people you reach, but how many people pay attention to what you are trying to say. So let's welcome Jolene and let's get into it. Jolene, welcome on board and looking forward to have this session with you. So you've spent nearly 2 decades in media, from medicine infinity to running Ultra. So how does consumer connect mean to you today that it wasn't the case when you started your career?
I think the one last year has been a big problem. I Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, but no, because my my
You
screen just
see,
seems
it's
frozen.
frozen, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, yeah,
We go
yeah.
with the voice, and we've got the face, so I think we are good with that.
Sure. Okay, so in the last 1 year, I think there's been a big change in the entire ecosystem, right? And uh, the way that we see consumers today is not. So I would say there are two things. It's today, is media actually driving the way consumers are behaving? Or, the other way around, is consumers actually making media move the way it is? So from a large part of how OTTs have grown, CTV has grown in the last 1 year or more. You also have short form videos, reels, etc. That has become, the rage for consumers across. So whether it is, Instagram, you have YouTube, etc. I think the consumers today are changing the entire ecosystem, and today it's becoming more and more difficult for brands to start. Start going across the funnel. So whether it is influencers today, or whether it is a large part of so influencers today build awareness, they build your mid funnel, they build your bottom funnels, they kind of come and tell you purchase the brand. So that's how the ecosystem has changed. Quick com and e-com has made a large transition. So for large advertisers, for media agencies like us, it's becoming challenging to make your money work harder, right? Should I go on television? Should I do CTV alone? Should I do OH? Today, OH also has disrupted majorly with digital OH coming in the spree. In fact, a lot of CG anographic kind of platforms which are across the country today. How do you kind of use them across the funnel? I think these are things that for all advertisers, for agencies across, should keep in mind while moving forward. And
just
largely,
just to
yeah,
ask
sorry.
you a question from that, and that brings a very interesting point of view that um, the disruption has happened in terms of uh, the way consumer gets aware, to way they get influenced, the way they where the media kind of plans it. But do you think that influences influence you to buy leads you up to a brand loyalty or a brand building the way traditionally we've understood?
Yeah, I think very importantly, look at large advertisers today. Whether today HUL spends around 50% of their budgets just on influencers. They move from, just traditional and digital, moving into just influencers, and even a lot of other FMCG brands, whether it's L'Oreal, it is, Marico, etc. A lot of them also are focusing on influencers. I think we should look at our behaviors itself. When was the last time that you actually saw an ad just on TV and bought it? Or when was the last time that you actually, saw an Instagram reel and you went and did a purchase instantly, right? So, influencers today are huge. And it was just 3 or 4 years back that I was talking to one of our brands. YRF is one of our brands that we also handle. And influencers at that time estimated around 2,500 crores of business that it would generate in the industry. Today, it's 15,000 crores, right? And that's when I told them, in the next 5 years, probably they would take over the entertainment industry as well. Today, you look at most of your movies today, who used to be content is the king. Today, they use influencers to actually build or promote their movies as well, right? So, and I have examples of a few. For example, if you look at Sayara, who knew about it till the time you had suddenly influencers crying in the theaters and wondering, what a wonderful movie that was. So these are absolute examples of, how you could use your brand and using them tactfully. Just because the world is using them, you need not go forward. You focus on what your core objective of your brand is, and then decide whether TV works for you, outdoor works for you, digital works for you. Yeah, I think that is what largely is the game currently.
Does a brand, traditional brands that you've worked so far, have a sort of it has been a challenge to kind of explain the shift, or it's now taken that everyone knows and they're on board with it when it comes to media?
I would say this happened 2 years back, where we used to go around and say, why don't you spend on digital, and why don't you spend on influencers and things? But I think today the way, 30% of most FMCG businesses come from quick com or e-com, right? And that is where your journey really can fall through. Starting from, even if 30% of my business is coming, that means that person is a digital user, right? And hence, I take that consumer directly into the loop of buying my products. So, at this point of time, I don't think advertisers have the challenge of or understanding what the medium is. I think the large challenge is, how do you do it? How do you actually go about it? Because everybody's saying to, be on CTV, be on Instagram, be on YouTube, be on influencers. But my budgets are very small. So we have clients across who have 5 crores of budget. We have clients who are spending around 10 crores, 30 crores. But it completely depends on where do you want to go. So just talking about one of the brands that we handle is Govardhan Ghee or Parag Foods, right? Govardhan Ghee as a brand, you will see only on impact properties. Do they have large monies? They actually focus on saying that my consumer is sitting here. I'll be on prime time. I will get my brand integrated well with Amitabh Bachchan. And that's what the key focus is. Just having spots across for them is not what really matters. At this point of time, they also look at trade that, coming on KBC, having those discussions, all of these things do matter to brands. Maybe it might not show in terms of direct sales, but the equity that brings in here is what really works.
So, good cue that you've given. Like, how much of an attention really gets into the sales conversation, or it is about seeking an attention, or views, or reach, or eyeballs, and not talk about sales because earlier it was very limited media, and we would know that a certain category of brand would afford certain category of media, but today that disruption is very much there. So how do you make sense out of it in today's world of multiple channel, multiple attention diversion, multiple category, multiple demography, multiple geography?
Yeah.
So how would you kind of approach that?
I think it's all about choice making today. Yeah, and that's what strong strategies come from. And the biggest example that I keep giving everybody is, Red Bull. Have you seen them on television? No. Have you seen them on? Of course, there would be some part of TV or digital that they are doing, but they focus completely on experiential, right? We also handle a brand called Vico, and I think they've built the brand on cinema over the years, and that's the legacy that and they've been consistently doing that over the years, right? And while now they do look at television and other aspects, they are very strong on social media, etc. But the brand has moved from where it was just a legacy brand and people knew it as my mother's brand to now going into younger audiences and connecting with them across the platform. So I think you know deciding what you really want to do, what is the target audience you want to run after, and how do you kind of make that sharper?
Okay,
Uh,
interesting.
so I also have a few things that I would like to show, which would also
Yeah,
bring a stronger perspective. If you have a few more questions, Khushboo, I would.
we'll go along as and when we are talking, but let's start with your presentation.
Sure, sure. Fine. So I'll just. Uh, can you see this?
It's just starting, I guess. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay, so what I thought would be a good session is, I think, like you rightly said, Khushboo, it was all about decoding how can new media really have, work for all of us. And as a challenge, we've seen most brands are going through this at this point of time with everybody wanting to do everything. But should that be the game? I think the most important part is, all about what am I targeting and what should I really do? So this is one number that I really love. We are talking about 878 million audiences. So I have a lot of numbers, guys. I just hope I don't make it boring. But interestingly, if you look at the chart down, which says around 15 to 24 years of age group is around 30% in the country. So, and the ones between 25 to 34 is around 25%. So, your audiences today, you have around 55% of people sitting in that gap, right? Secondly, obviously, you have 566 million audiences who are sitting in the rural market. Beyond that, I would also like you all to look at, sorry, yeah, I'd also like you all to look at the NCCS breakup, where around 56% of people are amongst the NCCS A and B. So one is you have a large audience today sitting amongst NCC A and B. You have young audiences who will be your next set of consumers there. And we've also seen that there is a huge growth on internet, on smartphones from 670 million today, growing. It will grow to around 1,000 plus, right? And today, e-com, like I was mentioning to you all, has been growing. while this is showcasing around 16%, we believe that the growth is more than 30% at this point of time, right? And what I want to also showcase here is look at the growth that is happening across, India. If you break up in India into India 1, 2, and 3, you have around 100, where we were talking about 174 million audiences today are moving, across the larger fold. So your biggest growth drivers, while you have the high income group which is growing, but your lower middle class is going to be your largest growth potential. So for a lot of advertisers, I would just showcase this as, your India 1 and India 2 going to be the growth forum. And if we have to look at where will this growth core come in. So while India 1 today is focused on D2C, modern retail, etc., India 2 today is growing. They have, their adoption for a lot of things are increasing. Working women today are becoming, core anchors on experiment of a lot of new age brands. Families and communities, etc., are now, it's not just decisions taken by the men, but it is decisions taken by families themselves. And today, I would also say that homes today is not just, joint families. We've seen a lot of nuclear families also rising up. So all of these things are, something that we should keep in mind. And like I was mentioning, because of, households becoming more nuclear, women working, digital heavy in terms of 40 GB in Bharat versus a 29 GB consumed on an average in US. That's where we have. And one very important thing is looking at how do you grow India too. So a lot of brands like Meesho, etc., have helped going regional. They've reached out to the Gen Z audience, who is now your 30% of your entire ecosystem, and who is going to be the next growth. I think brands should focus on the younger audiences today, who are approximately 55% of the entire universe. And a lot of these brands have changed the way, they would like to get growth. So, and this is one example that I love to talk about is how Meesho actually went down rural, how they went on and, actually broke the code of saying that growth happens only the top tier cities. They went down regional, they got, younger audiences who are on their phones to access, build specific creatives for them over a period of time, whether it is local. They build their entire platforms on, this influencer marketing as well. So they use regional vernacular medium, smart UX, UI, UX platforms to kind of get these consumers on board. And, these are things that when you look at these brands, you start wondering, we talk only tier 1, tier 2 metros, but you have your growth coming from there as well. If you need to win Bharat today, it's very important to speak and sell in vernacular language. And then coming to the 30% of our audiences. I mean, today, the question that everybody asks is, how can I crack Gen Zs? And a lot of you are sitting here also who are Gen Zs. So I think very importantly, what we've learned it the hard way is it's very important to, build meaningfulness for them. And more than celebrities, influencers actually help build reliability. If you see, around 83% of them actually take pride in Indian origin brands, right? And this is the study that we've seen across platforms. Even if we have to reach out to if you have to reach out to them through social media, it's not just through images and GIFs. I think it's a lot of reels that you need to start creating for them. Right. So largely, if I have to look at Gen Zs, we are saying authenticity over fame is what they look at. And hence what you will see ahead is that is why the reason micro and nano influencers today play a larger role, right? Secondly, for them, visual first storytelling becomes very important with reels. And today you have multiple AI tools which actually help you build this. And finally, for them, it's very important to be transparent in whatever exchange or value of product that you're talking to. If you look at the consumers today, they're actually reading the ingredients behind, right? And thanks to Food Pharma, who's made us more and more who's actually got us evolved from just picking up a product and just seeing the expiry date to see what are the kind of quality products that we are actually consuming, right? So that's what Bharat is today, and that is what India is today. And like you rightly said, Khushboo, the attention is collapsing. And in this point of attention, how do you really kind of go to your consumers, talk to them at the right point of time? And this is how a consumer is, if you look at their rituals from morning, early morning. I mean, just imagine all of us. We just pick up the phone the first time in the morning and, look at it before anything else, right? Traveling, we are into multiple things from WhatsApp to hearing a, podcast or music at the same time, and then being on social media, etc. And not that TV or CTV is not the key game. I think TV or CTV today, which I call the large screens, these are things that also matter in terms of building the brand. So uh, I think today it's important that sharper use of, today the audience engages with multiple touch points. It's important how do we engage with them at the right point. And like I mentioned, there was a time, and this is something that all of us are also seeing across, whether it's metros or tier one, tier two cities, or across markets, that where they used to have one television, today everybody is doing 10 different things, from either watching a cricket match on your phone, buying through quick com, and they are engaging with products every now and then. And this is the major crisis, because how do I talk to them, build attention with so many things happening at the right time? And that's why I say that attention has not dropped, it is now scattered. And for us, it's become even more hard to reach out to all. And look at all of us. I don't know what is the last ad that I have seen or I remember. Even if today I'm sitting and watching, a large impact program, what was the last ad that I watched? So I think that's the question we should ask. And there are few campaigns which have actually helped build that attention. This is Madison's addicts number, and we are seeing that while traditional is stagnant, digital is growing. But I would like you all to look at this number, and please let me know if I'm going too fast as well. Overall, if I have to see, traditional today itself is around 61,000 crores, and total addicts today, we are expecting it to be 155 crores for 2025, and then moving to 170. So advertising is growing. And where is this growth coming from? Of course, there is traditional media, there is digital media. Mediums are not dying. It's being used in the right way. There is around 63,000 crores coming from e-com plus CTV. Quick.com currently is around 6,000, and a lot of MSMEs digital is around 42,000. And this is a big thing for a lot of us today, in terms of how MSMEs are also driving growth from them for them very tactfully. Yeah. So largely
the whole,
yeah,
I'm just adding to your last slide, the
yeah,
whole democratizing the traditional versus the modern digital point of view is that you'll have to wait to be a certain size to be able to afford media, which is
yeah,
not the case right now. So I think
Yes.
that's an interesting opportunity that India has today compared to many other countries, and that's where the real growth is coming. It's not about digital, but it's about ability for even a smaller brands to kind of come in and take a right share of media for a targeted way is what is scaling up the growth is how I'm looking at these numbers.
Absolutely, Khushboo. I think bang on point for you. It's not that I need 100 crores to actually advertise and get my brand there. If I'm really clear about what I really need to do, for example, I say that why not get into a market like AP? It's an isolatable market. Can I go with digital or TV, etc., or can I just go with influencers there and outshout the consumers? So you're bang on in what you're saying that I don't need large monies today to actually go and reach out to my consumers. I can start small, and we are seeing the growth of D2C brands today across in the country, right? Everybody starts off with something small and then they scale it up. Whether you start off with performance or branding, it clearly goes into what your objective is.
Absolutely.
So I would like to put across some six shifts that the advertisers should look at. One is obviously it's not that TV is dead. You still TV today is still the cheapest media to reach across 878 million today. The base that is sitting there. But at the same time, CTV has grown to 70 million Indian households. So these are 70 million devices that is in the house being viewed by everyone. Creators today are, building trust. Experience. I mean, I want to ask a lot of people on this panel, how many of them have spent a lot of money going to concerts or their IPL cricket on ground? So the experience today in terms of being a part of comedy shows, content, that's another one booming, and there are brands who are leveraging them as well. Quick com is growing, and hence being present there is important. And outdoor plus cinema has taken a different shift on the way movies and the way outdoor is growing. I'll move through these segments a little fast, where I'm saying that TV is massive. And these are a few numbers. Again, I'm sorry to bore you all with it. But while we are seeing that TV is dropping, digital is growing, TV still is the cheapest medium to reach out. Please don't ignore it if you have to go to a larger set of audiences. Cinema also is also growing. Print is not dying, it is stagnant, but how do you use print tactfully is very important. So these are reach numbers across all India. One important thing that I would want to put across is that on TV today, if you look at this is the way TV was divided between cable, D2H, free dish, etc. Today, CTV, while it's growing, the larger part is that while pay is there, pay is now moving into a lot of FTA channels. So there's a lot of migration between pay from pay to free dish and CTV. So this is one piece. So there's an opportunity to be there on large screens. Also, the way viewership is moving, you see viewership moving more towards prime time. While there used to be a time where afternoon slots were doing extremely, it's not that. But there is an opportunity to be there at this point of time. Yeah, and finally coming to again the next large screen, and I would say that just don't break it up as linear TV and CTV. If the only thing that we've done in our households today is we've removed off the box and we've moved into data, right? TV still remains the big chunk. And we are saying that we have 70 million devices which are there. Approximately 4 hours that is spent on connected TV, right? And this is not just a game of metros. If you look at this slide, you'll see that there's a growth on CTV users from 22 to 25 across all markets. And it's all largely 70 plus in terms of growth. right? And this is also to say that, if I have to look at the contribution between metros and non-metros, earlier the metros would contribute 50% of CTV. Today it's 27%, say in Bangalore. It means that there's a fragmentation happening in states. It means that reaching out consumers beyond metros through CTV is becoming larger, right? And the most important thing is, you can't just pick up your TVC and run it on CTV or any other brand. I think it's important for us to understand that every platform, the kind of creatives that you run in should be different, because consumers view it differently, right? All of us have seen that reels are important on Instagram, so on CTV your creatives have to be catchy, attention breaking, and these are things that we've done for our brand on Avatar, right? So we at Madison, we've created specific CTV creatives for them. I'm not going to run through in uh, because of time, but have specific creatives made for specific platforms. And let me be honest, today in the world of AI or in the world of content, creating creatives across platforms is not expensive. Create your master creatives, adapt them to multiple platforms, and this can be done like in a jiffy in today's world. And like I mentioned to you about, creators, from growth happening amongst short videos is today become a habit. I think all of us keep talking, we keep scrolling through our platforms. So whether it is short videos, reels, and a lot of across, right? And like I mentioned today, if I have to look at the kind of subscribers each of these creators have, so Carrie Minati today has around 45 million subscribers. Or if I have to even look at cooking chefs, etc., 8.8 million subscribers. So I'm reiterating, Khushboo, what you said, that if I need to reach out to my specific audiences, engage with them, I can go across multiple categories as well. So whether they are beauty creators or finance creators, everybody has a set of genres, and their base of audiences, subscribers are huge, right? So this gives a huge advantage for a lot of brands to also start looking at how to use creative. So just don't, and one more very important thing is, when you're getting influencers, don't try to make an ad. You have to work the way today they have influencers on their platforms, because because they are giving content in a certain way. Don't try to change that. Try to build it for in the benefit for your brand, right? And these are the landscapes I can share this across. One more important thing, and this is another example that I love to give, is Lux once upon a time used to have only celebrities, right? So from Shah Rukh Khan to Amitabh Bachchan to Sri Devis, and they would not take any other celebrities. Today, the face of the brand is an influencer, and that's where this entire change in the ecosystem is. Yeah. And one more important thing that I would like to put across is, look at the way viewership on multiple platforms are. So if I have to look at my Saas Bahu serials on TV or CTV, etc., we are talking about a reach of 2% or 1%. Today, even getting a reach of 1% on a program is huge. But if I have to look at the views that each of these programs have today, like for example, the Thagesh show, I don't know how many of you all have seen, you have around 100 million views on that one show itself, right? So this is actually showing how viewership has actually moved, fragmented, and that's where it becomes important for brands to start identifying where and what they want to be on.
Yeah, it's like you rightly said, it's very targeted, focused attention to what, like, all of us on the group might be following one show, not other. Uh,
Yes.
Everybody has their own cohort that they have kind of very focused, identified. Compared to in your slide, there was this image of everyone in the family sitting and watching a one TV. To now, the content has distributed amongst the personal preference and choices so much. I think that's where the great opportunity comes in, to realize where your audience is and how you are kind of trying to connect with them. That doesn't look forced, that doesn't look pushy, that looks very naturally integrated and sort of true to your brand values that you're trying to connect with. The so every, like, we go back to the very basics of our brand philosophies, and everybody is not your customer, so identifying the strategy to who's your customer and then going down to media is become all the more very critical now.
Yeah, and I would say, Khushboo, that it's not just an age group saying that, oh, somebody, a Gen Z would be behaving a certain type of watches a certain genre, etc. To be honest, people amongst my age group also, each of them have a different kind. They watch different kind of contents. They follow different influencers. Somebody that I follow would not, someone else wouldn't even know about that influencer. So I am today spoiled for choices with, not only spoiled for choices, I am actually following what I'm interestingly following what I really want, right? And that's what media is. This is an example that I gave you, that how today influencers are pushing people to actually watch content. So this is Sayara is one. I think even if you watch Durandar today, the way people have built, yeah, Akshay Khanna in terms of the kind of content or reels or memes or a lot of things that have been built. Today, even those large contents need these influencer, need these micro nano kind of, and how you use it is important. Please just don't create a video and just run it over and expect a major change. You need to start thinking brand relevance, brand contextuality, and very importantly, please, it's important for every brand to do it consistently. You can't do it for 1 2 months and then say ki, oh, this is not working for you. It's taken years for brands to build over time.
That's
Sorry,
so
I'll
true.
just, yeah.
So true. Like Vico, we all have seen those ad in theaters because of a consistency, one film or another. They have always been present over there. So
Right.
consistency, there's no substitute of that. And I think that's a great learning for brands who try
Yeah.
one thing and say, oh, it's not working, so they just drop, or they put very unrealistic metrics on short term activities like influencers and say, oh, इससे sales पे फर्क नहीं पड़ा तो नहीं करते हैं. I think that's the great learning that I would take, that consistency is the key to holding anything true here.
Yep. I would just like to show this one video, which is my favorite again,
Yeah.
as how a comedian actually, used the brand name, and then how the brand went about getting him as their person.
I think we can't hear it, but I'm sure.
Okay, sorry. I am having today issues with
No problem. But I
technology.
think most of us have seen this.
Yes. So
Viswad, Vijay Sales, and then Vijay Sales taking him. I get that.
yeah, and then they actually picked it up. So that's actually moment marketing, right? So when somebody's used you as a brand very disruptively, how do you actually take that as an opportunity and build it? So if there is, I just heard a conversation in the earlier session which spoke about, how should brands actually go in, with, whether it's being bold or no, if there is a huge backslash in terms of creativity or things, how do you kind of turn it around for you, right? I think that's very important also, to make sure it doesn't kind of harm the reputation, and how do you go back into media or advertising and talk about this whole aspect.
Turn it into a moment that's worth.
Absolutely, absolutely, and in the right positive way.
True.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and I think all of us do watch, Farah's show on YouTube. I think she makes, and like she rightly said, today she's making more money on YouTube than actually making movies. So, how do you kind of use? And there are so many brands today who are on that show giving free gifts, and people do remember brands. For example, Vim is one brand that I keep remembering her giving as gifts, and
It was one that it comes on top of my mind.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I'll just skip this. So for one of our brands on Fevicol, we actually got Mr. Rajat Sharma as our key influencer. I will show you. Sorry. So sorry, this was a campaign that we had with Fevicol, and it was all about just kursi pe nazar. It was the whole concept which was created by Piyush Pandey. We actually went in because we felt elections and kursi actually was something that would actually connect very well. And we got our key influencers like Saurabh Sharma and Rajat Sharma to subtly put the brand message. So obviously they did not use Fevicol and all of that, but we ran our creative immediately. So this was the first time that it was very well done, gracefully, not into the face, right? And like I said, concerts are the next big thing. How you use brands, so whether it's IPL, movie festivals, stand-up comedies are actually getting, a huge number of audiences there. So it started off with Coldplay, and now you see a huge number of concerts across. So a lot of brands use them very well. So, for example, if you look at the way Nivea used it, they were present on Lollapalooza. They've done after that they did money content aspects of it. So these are things, and not just being on one platform, but how do you boost it up on content is another piece. This is one more brand of ours, which is Joy Cosmetics, where they've a brand like Joy, you would think, why would they be present on IPL? But to be honest, they've used IPL so well, and we are seeing growth. They are seeing growth over year on year for their brands, and they've used a lot of influencers also, whether it's your women influencers coming from WPL, etc., as a part of their strategy. So, though you are, I would not say brands today are small or big. I think it's how you kind of use media to get growth is where it's important. The next is podcast. I think podcasts are big on opportunities, and if you use it well, I think to build equity for your brand. So for me, the largest one that I see is about Dabur, the way they've used Karina Kapoor in their podcast. So doing it well. And I'm saying just don't look at national podcasts, right? Look at regional. So Lalan Top is doing extremely well in your northern belts. And you have multiple others which are happening regional. So you need not every time be on only large podcast. You can actually go regional as well.
Yeah. Interesting. I think how many slides, or we have to
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think it's more or less. We've spoken about QuickCom, the way it's growing. So, what I wanted to also showcase that make specific creatives for QuickCom itself. Outdoor media, we've already spoken about these things. So, there's a huge transformation of how outdoor has been surging across. Whether airports today are growing across the country. So, can you make an opportunity there? Transit media led metros are things that are building. So we've done this for one of our brands, which is Fevicol. We've taken up the Marol Nathav. Yeah, that's what this is. And I think one very important piece, lastly, I'll just leave with everybody. Today, in the decade of AI, where we have approximately Chat GPT has grown to 100 million users. How do you use it to the best? And in this entire thing, I think trust and dependency has now moved into a system than people. So I think how do you kind of build that amongst your brand? Kind of building this analytics piece for your brand, reaching out to your consumers become very important. And today, discovery has become an algorithm. It's not like, appointment viewing. So these are key aspects of what I would like to take here. We also, I think, even in your regular media, your AI-led optimization is something that you all should look at, because when we use it, we get around 20% efficiencies across. We also use AI-driven targeting for creatives to reach out to specific consumers, and we've also built an internal AI tool. So I think largely I would leave it to this as to and I have much more, but I would, in view of time, I would like to stop over here.
Yeah,
But I think the way we should look at it as is, how can media really help reaching out to your consumers across your mediums itself. So yeah.
yeah, I think that's been very interesting. I think it has covered the range of understanding on how media and the landscape has changed, and I think that's going to be a very insightful for brand managers, marketers, everyone who's attending the session today. And we'll leave the floor open for anyone who would like to ask question to Jolene, and or again, same like a previous session, you can drop a message if you're not able to uh, chat up, but any questions from anyone?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, Sahaj.
Yeah, so I understand the perspective and the insights on what we can do for already established brands who have a lot of capital to burn and spend. But what about new brands? If I'm coming out with a lifestyle brand per se, uh, what can I do to get into the influencer space, to get into the outdoor hoarding space, to make my brand more visible and more engaging for the customers, for my customers, and for the brand?
Sure. Sahaj, I think very importantly, as a new brand, the first thing everybody will come and say is that, go disruptive. Go all TV, all outdoors, all influencers. And I think, like I mentioned, it's a very important to do choice making. Which markets do you want to go? Do you need to go to talk to your, if you're talking lifestyle, should I look at NCCS A consumers, right? So, which areas of outdoor will really matter, or the kind of influencers who will kind of boost me. And today, I would just say, keep having a media placement is not the whole story. Media creatives are also connections. I might have the best placement, but if I don't have the right emotion or connection with my consumers, I've lost and I've burnt that money out, right? So being relevant in the right space, even talking simple things, and that's why and nano influencers are really connecting, because they become relevant there.
Okay, so would you say that personal branding will become a huge part? Like we said in the first session, we discussed
Hmm.
uh, the personal branding of any brand owner will make a huge difference in the coming future for any upcoming brands.
Yes, absolutely. Because see, media will get more and more expensive. So it's then going to be important where, how do you target your relevant consumers? For example, if I'm talking to a nicotine brand, right, and I will not want to reach out to the whole world, or if I'm talking to a health brand, I will not want to reach. I want to talk to people who are in the journey of, getting their health well, or smokers or tobacco chewers. I will talk to them directly versus spending too many impressions across.
Okay, yeah, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we have a question on chat. Jolene, can you read it or should I read out?
Yeah, if you could, because my laptop is just.
What changes? So it's Rickin's question. What changes trends? What trends change that we can expect in influencer marketing and social media as this canvas is changing very fast? What kind of changes that you can see? I think that's what he means.
See, I think changes are also dependent on technology. And today, with AI moving that fast, optimization of even the best influencers, right? So whether you have a system that tells you which markets, what influencers, how do I connect, etc., is going to be very important. Secondly, you have a lot of influencers who have just random bots who are reaching out through the bot way. So it's important for us to make sure that we just don't get fraud viewership. Right, so that's important, and I think there is a lot to come given technology. To be honest, I won't have the answer now, but there's a lot that is there in future, and that will change with technology.
Yeah, we have a next question. Recently, a micro drama peaked up in Indian market. Do you think that small
Yes.
brands now has an edge to create their own IP micro drama, and what are the views on it?
Yes, I think micro dramas are the next trending thing. To be honest, it is still small at this point of time. But I just think for brands, if you want to break into the clutter, try to be on platforms which have lesser clutter, right? So this could be opportunities for a huge number of brands who want to change the game. But there is still time. I look at it for when I'm saying this point of time, it looks small. Over a period of the next 1 year, it will 100% grow.
Yeah, I also see that's being in a very interesting space, very targeted, very focused, and very contextual. Rahul, you can
Yeah.
please unmute and
Yeah, yeah, hi. Thank you, Prabhu. Jolene, I see that you come with a lot of facts and with a lot of data. So I just wanted to know, I mean, is there any suggested book that you would recommend to, get more insights on such topics?
You can reach out to me, Rahul. That's one thing. No, so we have playbooks at Madison. We have say for example, we have a digital playbook or a content playbook. If you want, you can just message me. I will share it along with you. We
For
also
sure.
have a yearly ADEX study that we do at Madison, which talks about mediums and spends across that we do across the country. So I can share that as well.
Thank you so much.
I think Shailesh ji has a question, very interesting insight on changing media dynamics. Wish to know how AI platforms and tools are getting into embedded ads and sponsored content.
Yeah, so I had shown, I just raced around the AI part of it. So there are multiple things that we do over here. We use media. So one is from an efficiency standpoint, right? There are many optimizer companies that actually can optimize your campaigns where you can get better efficiency. So something that a team is sitting down and doing manually, the system really does that and helps you get your consumer in the best bidded way. So we use multiple optimizers for them. That is one. Second is there are multiple. So we've created our internal tool, which is called Visual, where we build in a lot of AI generated creatives, which can go and target back your consumer as well on multiple genres and multiple platforms, depending on the kind of keywords that. So these are systems that are already in Madison. There are also partners across like Channel Factory and Silver Posh, etc., that also do similar AI based targeting and creatives as well.
Superb. I think we have to look at the time now, and thank you everyone for the questions. But you can definitely reach out to Jolene on LinkedIn. I just did, and she's very quick to revert, and she would love to kind of revert on all your queries and questions. But Jolene, that has been interesting. We work in the same industry. We look at the things very differently at times, but getting the perspective and at a scale that you have presented today, that has been very much an interesting learning experience. Seeing the thing with the whole picture kind of, I'm sure, has added a great value to all of us today. And we're glad to have you on board here today and have this interaction. Thank you, Sanjay sir, for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you so much. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry my video, I don't know, there's something wrong with Zoom video. So apologies on that.
Yeah, that's
But it was
Yeah.
great coming and interacting with all of you guys.
Yeah, on behalf of Brand Club, we thank you, Jolene, for coming up after so much of busy schedule. You know, we have been trying hard to get you on board. And thank you, Khushboo, for moderating it so well. And we would look forward, Jolene, to have you again and Brand Club so that, you know, elaborately we can discuss and have a one-day workshop with you, right?
Sure,
And
sure.
thank you all the audience to be there and interacting with the speakers. And special thanks to Madison Group, who has been always supporting us in all the 5 seasons, right? So that is one wonderful thing. I think that's an institute for media for us. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Khushboo.
yeah,
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sanjay.
yeah.